held tonight after a rocky hillside collapsed over the weekend, destroying part of their home. Engineers say the building is so badly damaged it's not safe to live in, and the family might not be allowed back in before Christmas. Pastor Brownschmidt has more.
Suzanne and Ivan's worst nightmare has come true. The rock face behind their house collapsed in this weekend's heavy rain. Their son's room was destroyed while he slept in his bed.
It was 3 seconds of sheer terror.
Fortunately, no one was physically hurt, but today the pain of not being able to be in their own home in the days before Christmas seems unbearable.
My kids they're exceptionally well. They're oblivious to what has happened. Myself, I've been better.
The city of Langford has ordered the family out, saying the house is unstable and so is the hill. Suzanne says the city should have listened a year ago when she questioned the integrity of the rock blasted to make room for the subdivision.
We put neighbors on notice. It was their property that fell. We put them on notice that we thought there was potential.
Tonight, the family is staying in a hotel, and the city says it's working with them to begin the remediation process. But the family's comprehensive home insurance doesn't cover this type of damage.
What we've just found out the hard way is that there's no such thing as homeowner coverage for this sort of incident.
And there may not be any insurance coverage for people in this RV park near Souk, who are cleaning up a mess left by a weekend flood. The caretaker says a screen put on a culvert was supposed to prevent the system from blocking and backing up, but that's just what happened at high tide in the downpour.
There's some people that are already browned off, and yeah, it never should have happened.
It's going to be some lengthy process of litigations after this, and it'll come out in the wash.
In Langford, Astrid Brownschmidt, A News.
The Capital Region is home to some of the oldest pipes in North America, and the heavy rainfall over the weekend exposed the weakness of Victoria's aging sewer system. Erin Glazier has more.
I'm concerned about the environment, and standing here looking at this beautiful ocean, it's unnecessary for sure.
Willows Beach was teeming with people and dogs this morning, but little did they know what was lurking in the water. A potential sewage contamination, closing area beaches until further notice.
If I had seen a notice up in the parking area or somewhere like that, I would have looked at things a lot differently this morning. Yeah. We're going to get off the beach now.
The advisory will remain in effect until we get the lab results back and we can confirm that the fecal coliform levels are below the recreational level.
6 warning signs have been posted near outfall areas from Finnerty Point in Saanich to Clover Point in Victoria. And the culprit, aging infrastructure and some storm pipes that are more than 100 years old. But the city of Victoria says it's working on switching out those sections where water leaks into and overwhelms the sewage system during heavy rainfall.
We have over 200 kilometers of main, and 10,000 services, so it takes a long time to catch up with all that.
A total of 77 millimeters fell within the 24-hour period, and that put a significant strain on storm drains such as this one, and that has the city of Victoria asking for your help to clear them.
If people see leaves packed up on the catch basin, just to clear them away, make sure the water doesn't pool on the road.
In the aftermath, several homeowners found themselves sucking up water and peeling back carpet today.
Systems are being tested as we speak, so hopefully these same homes, as the problems are rectified, then they're in a better position for the rest of the winter.
And with the forecast calling for rain, this mess isn't about to dry out anytime soon. In Victoria, Erin Glazier, A News.
In Vancouver, traffic is being rerouted along a major section of Marine Drive after a large sinkhole swallowed up part of the road. The hole is nearly 10 meters wide and 7 meters deep. The collapse severed a 7-centimeter gas line and a 30-centimeter water line. Southeast Marine Drive is expected to remain closed for the rest of the week. Parts of Washington State are dealing with mudslides and massive floods. Some areas were hit with more than 36 millimeters of rain on Sunday alone. The rainfall broke a record in Seattle that stood for 55 years. Back to Vancouver now, where a weekend shootout has triggered fears that gang violence is about to explode again. a deadly cycle of attack and retaliation. Police say gunfire broke out early yesterday morning during a birthday party at a restaurant on Vancouver's west side, where several people with gang connections had gathered. 10 people were wounded in the shootout. 8 of those remain in hospital. Police say none of the victims were innocent bystanders. Vancouver's mayor says his city will not stand for gang violence.
This type of assault in the community is despicable. It has no place in any city. It has no place in Vancouver. And I can assure you that our city and our BPD are pulling out all the stops in dealing with this brazen gang violence.
I want to reassure the community in the area that this was an isolated incident. We are going to step up high visibility police presence throughout all the areas where we know gangsters like to congregate, and we're going to make them know.
Police say violence appears to have been triggered by the shooting death of a 32-year-old gang member in the parking lot of the Metrotown Shopping Center in Burnaby
on October 16th. The victims in yesterday's shooting include 7 men and 3 women, all between the ages of 20 and 36. At least 5 people were arrested after the shooting, but no charges have been laid. Researchers say sea lice are not to blame for killing millions of pink salmon in the Broughton Archipelago. The findings are the result of a study conducted by researchers in BC, Alaska, and California. The study did not determine why the pink salmon run crashed in 2002, but says it wasn't because of sea lice. The findings were quickly denounced as outrageous and highly political by biologist Alexandra Morton, who's been studying sea lice in the Broughton for decades. But the researchers stand by their work.
There is no significant association with the lice numbers on the juvenile salmon as they migrate past into the ocean and their returns.
They made some rather extraordinary statements, and one of them was that these young salmon with the lice on them must have died from something other than the lice. If these authors want to propose that these fish died of something else when they had holes in them and were bleeding from lice, they need to tell me what that was.
Researchers say fish farms on BC's coast provided them with their data, something that hasn't been done before. Morton says she is surprised by the findings and also wants to know why the fish farms handed over their information when they wouldn't give it to her. The crew of HMCS Winnipeg has been recognized for helping fight piracy off the Horn of Africa. In the spring of last year, the crew of Winnipeg took part in the NATO-led Operation Allied Protector. This is a proud moment for the base commander of CFB Esquimalt. Captain Craig Baines is joining his former crew from HMCS Winnipeg as they accept a NATO service medal. In 2009, Captain Baines was the commanding officer of Winnipeg, a patrol frigate which was Canada's contribution to the NATO task force doing counter-piracy in the Gulf of Aden off the Horn of Africa.
Winnipeg, the first of the Canadian ships to be identified by NATO for a non-Article 5 mission, for keeping the world's oceans safe and free.
Not only were we representing Canada's interests, but we're also representing NATO's interests. And this was really Canada's first counter-piracy mission that was going out to disrupt piracy and stop hijackings before they occurred.
The NATO non-Article 5 Service Medal is awarded to all personnel who have spent 30 or more days in the counter-piracy mission in the operational area. The Chief of Maritime Staff says the medal recognizes the exceptional contribution, commitment, and dedication made by the men and women of Winnipeg working with NATO allies.
It's incredibly important for you to know you have played a part in the security of this nation.
What was great about this group is they all worked together towards what was really a first-of-its-kind mission for Canada, and they worked very hard during the time they were there. In fact, they spent 52 days at sea without a break.
Many of the goods that transit through the Gulf of Aden end up in North America, and Captain Baines says the crew aboard Winnipeg is proud of its role in bringing security to the region. The Naden Band held its 31st annual Christmas concert in Victoria tonight. The popular holiday event, which featured Ken Levine and Stephanie Greaves, is also a fundraiser for the Salvation Army Toy Drive. The Naden Band's Christmas concert runs through Wednesday at the Royal Theatre. Aston Brownschmidt was the MC tonight. Bruce Williams will host the event tomorrow and Wednesday. The Bank of Canada says the penny costs more to produce than the coin's actual value. Just ahead on A News at 11, the Senate Finance Committee will weigh in on the future of the copper-plated coin tomorrow.
Also coming up, we'll have your full weather forecast, including your 7-day extended outlook just ahead. First, here's a look at the current conditions outside.
Seriously, you took them as a trade-in.
I didn't want to be put on the naughty list. They can fly.
The Bring Home a Honda event is on now. We've created these limited special edition Accords and Civics, loaded with no charge added features, no payments for 90 days, and a $500 cash bonus. But it's just for the holidays, so hurry in.
Think a thick cream is the only way to firmer-looking skin? Challenge the need for such heavy measures with Olay. New Regenerous Microsculpting Serum for firmer-looking skin in 5 days. Pretty heavy lifting for such a lightweight. Olay Regenerous.
Tomorrow morning, cut off community. Stoop Mayor Janet Evans on dealing with another closure on Stoop Road. Plus, independent MLA Vicky Huntington on BC politics. And Victoria's first look at local news live on A Vancouver Island and on CFAX 10.
Every year is a quest for world junior supremacy. Each time our adversaries have knocked us down, Canada has fought back to the top. And with gold headed to our arch rivals on home ice. This year, expect nothing less. The World Junior Hockey Championship begins Boxing Day on TSN.
Don't be surprised if you haven't seen technology this intuitive before. No other car in the world has it. Actually, no other anything in the world has it. Introducing 2011 Lincoln NKX. It's not just luxury, it's smarter than that.
Recall canvassers who want the HST gone have now collected more than 2,000 signatures. The milestone comes as a poll commissioned by the BC government suggests voters aren't ready to scrap the tax, at least not yet. Chachi Curl has the story.
It can be lonely work, but one signature at a time, recall canvassers in Oak Bay Gordon Head say they are on track to meet their petition targets.
The people seem to be very receptive to signing the petition.
But while recall canvassers have started this campaign in an effort to force the provincial government to get rid of the HST, the provincial government still thinks it might be able to talk you around on that issue, and it's spent $73,000 of your dollars on the effort.
The province's HST office, run by Liberal MLA John Less, conducted polling and focus groups that concluded, among other things, that 2/3 of British Columbians do want to vote on the harmonized sales tax, and about the same number want more information about the tax. Les says this is good news for the pro-HST side.
There's at least an even chance here that we can come to a positive result at the end of the day.
But does it really match up with what would-be Liberal leaders are saying about the HST? Front-runner Christy Clark wants to scrap the referendum.
Allow members of the legislature a genuinely free vote to express their wishes about the HST. Allow them to show the leadership on this issue.
And candidate Mike Dion says he'd scrap Less's information office.
I think people have decided their view on the HST, and we have to respect that.
When asked if it shows a government out of step with its own future leadership, Less said this.
The question is perhaps better asked of the candidates. How do they square their position with the emerging facts? And I'm not so sure that after a brief sobering up process after the leadership race is over that we won't find common ground quite easily.
But that's not what recall canvassers are hoping for. If there is a softening up towards an unpopular tax, they could be facing a Christmas left out in the cold. In Saanich, Chachi Curl, A News.
Lawrence Cannon and U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton issued a stern warning to Haitian leaders
to get their political house in order. A meeting of North American foreign affairs ministers in Quebec. It features Clinton and, of course, Canada. They endorsed last week's threats by a powerful senator who said the U.S. should withhold funds from Haiti's government until its tainted election is resolved.